Yo, what up, fam? Welcome back to Zip It Up Pod for another week. Welcome. Thank you for joining again. Glad to see everyone. And man, appreciate y'all listening along. Of course, this is our off season. The off season's kind of wrapping up, though. We got some racing action later this week, so I'll touch on that towards the end of this podcast. But we want to jump right in. I got a fun episode planned. So before we do anything else, let's go ahead and determine what we're drinking tonight. I do have the ever delicious Dr. Pepper. I just finished dinner, so I don't know if this is exactly where I should be sitting right now. Sorry, that was a funny joke to me. Hopefully y'all got that. Yeah, we'll see how quickly I can make this episode and get through it. Had some Jimmy John's sandwich tonight, and so I have a Dr. Pepper on the ice, ready to go, and I don't really have anything planned for our toast tonight. So I'm going to toast this to you, the fans, the listeners, the Zip It Uppers. You know what? We need to come up with a name. That just crossed my mind. Our listeners need a name. I don't want to just refer to you as listeners or subscribers or followers. We need a name. We're going to work on that. But right now, this episode and this drink goes out to all of you tuning in for a fun off-season episode. So cheers, okay? Let me explain what this episode's all about. It dawned on me that, there might be some new fans that listen to the podcast. And if you are a new fan in NASCAR, Hendrick Motorsports has a driver for you. Even if you are an old fan returning to NASCAR, maybe you're looking for a reason to root for Hendrick Motorsports. Maybe you've never liked them before and maybe you need one now. I got you covered tonight, okay? Everyone needs a driver to root for when you get into racing, okay? You get interested watching on TV, and you have to have a reason to follow these drivers, to fall in love with them. Hendrick Motorsports has 4 very good options for you, and I'm going to go through all those tonight. But, the main thought behind this is I think we have the best team, so obviously I'd be a bad salesman if I didn't believe in my pitch, So I'm going to go ahead and tell you, these 4 drivers are probably my 4 favorite drivers in NASCAR right now. And I think that there is a little bit of something in each of those drivers for you, the fan, something you can latch on to it and like and appreciate and find a reason to start rooting for. So hopefully you'll get something from this episode, maybe learn something new, maybe something you already know. And this just kind of confirms maybe some inklings that you've had on some drivers. But when you watch a movie, you end up falling in love with a character. Or when you watch a TV series, you end up falling in love with a character. So one of them becomes your favorite character. And that's why you get hooked. That's why you keep watching. That's why you end up following them on social media. You end up going and watching other stuff that they are in. And so that's what we're doing here with NASCAR drivers. This is their art. This is where they are front and center. And you find one that you like and you follow that guy, that athlete, that driver becomes your favorite driver. And you can not only like them on the track, but you can also follow along with them, their career, their personal life. A lot of them share it on social media with you. We live in a day and age where the whole internet gets to see every step of your life, especially when you're super famous. And it did not used to be that way in racing back in, many, many years ago. These 90s didn't have the internet. So the personalities, we were able to see those on the track and a little bit off the track in interviews and the camaraderie within the garages and pit road. But now you get to see these drivers just about 24/7. I mean, shoot, many of them are featured in documentaries, TV shows, and they end up with cameras in their faces right there in their living room. So it's just a great time. If you want to become a NASCAR fan, I want to use this episode to state the case why you should be a Hendrick Motorsports fan. And I'm going to help you maybe determine a driver that you can start rooting for along with us. All right. So let's get started. I first want to start with the organization as a whole, why you should like and appreciate Hendrick Motorsports. First of all, this team is the gold standard of NASCAR. They are the best of the best. And if you go ask a random NASCAR fan, they can be a diehard fan, and you ask who the best team in NASCAR is, they're going to tell you Hendrick Motorsports. And there's a lot of casual NASCAR fans you can ask who the best team in NASCAR is, and they will be able to tell you it's Hendrick Motorsports. And there's no denying it. There's no argument to be made for anybody else. Hendrick Motorsports is the best of the best right now. They are top of their game, and they seem to be getting better and better every year. They're getting stronger and stronger. I'm going to prove that as we go through this episode. But for starters, they have more championships than any other NASCAR team. Any other Cup team, they have 15 championships. They also have, I believe this number is correct, 320 wins all time. And that is obviously split amongst several different drivers who have been, driving for the team way back over 40 years ago when they started. And even today, every win adds to that number, which is atop all other teams. No one's reaching 320. Kind of like Wilt dropping 100 in one game. Ain't nobody doing that again. That's what we have here with Hendrick Motorsports. They are way out in front of everybody, and they are extending their lead right now. Nobody's catching up. So they also, this is important, by the way, they also are a big partner with Chevrolet. So we do drive Chevys every week. If you got a thing against Chevys, then you got a thing against me, and you got a thing against Hendrick Motorsports. We're not Ford fans. We're not Toyota fans. We're not Dodge fans whenever they come back. We're not fans of any other manufacturer. We are Chevy. We rock the bow tie on Sundays and Saturdays. This team, as I mentioned, was originated a long time ago. Rick Hendrick started the team, I believe, back in 1984, so it's been about 42 years. We just passed the 40th anniversary a couple years ago. So we're well over 40 years into this thing. In those 40 years, 15 championships, 320 wins, mighty impressive. But during that time, we have a rich history of great drivers, like superstar caliber drivers. Let me start I'm not going to name them chronologically, and I'm not going to name all of them. I don't have time to go through every name, but I'm going to start from the top and work our way down. Probably a list of 10 to 12 drivers here. Starting with Jeff Gordon, probably the best driver that's ever driven for Hendrick Motorsports. He has 93 career wins in the Cup Series. I said that super weird. 93 career wins. He also won 4 championships with Hendrick Motorsports. Then right below him is Jimmy Johnson, who has 83 wins in his career with Hendrick Motorsports and 7 championships, which is tied for the most with Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt Sr. Also feels like another number that's not going to be touched. Then there's Terry Labonte. He has 12 career wins. He also won a championship for Hendrick Motorsports back in the day. And then there's names like Dale Earnhardt Jr., who has 9 wins. Darrell Waltrip, 9 wins with the organization. Tim Richmond, 9 wins with Hendrick Motorsports. Then we got Jeffrey Bodine, Mark Martin, Casey Kane, Kyle Busch, all drove the number 5 car. Ken Schrader, Ricky Rudd. These are legendary, historic names. Several of these names in the NASCAR Hall of Fame, and they've all driven for this team. Yes, they've driven for other teams as well. Casey Kane probably didn't have his best years when he was with Hendrick Motorsports. Mark Martin, probably not his best years when he was with Hendrick Motorsports. But for the large majority of these names and these drivers do have great success when they're with our organization. And so after hearing that list of some of our best drivers that have ever been behind the wheel of a Hendrick Motorsports car, currently we have 4 really good drivers. This is a good time to hop on the bandwagon if you haven't already. And all 4 drivers, yes, they have completely different personalities. We're going to dive into that in just a moment as well. But the 4 drivers we have now, listen to this. Kyle Larson has 26 wins with Hendrick Motorsports, which is 3rd on the list of all Hendrick Motorsports drivers. Okay, I don't think he's going to reach Jimmy with 83 wins. Definitely not Jeff with 93 wins. Larson is 3rd at 26. Big drop off, I know. but still saying something after you just heard those legendary names. He's already passed them up, and he's only been with the team, I think, since 2021. He's won a lot of races in a short amount of time, as well as 2 championships. Kyle Larson will be the last driver we talk about tonight. I'm going to spend time on each driver tonight and give you reasons why you should root for them. Larson will bring up the rear later in this episode, and he'll cap off the night. But already, 3rd on our all-time wins list. Incredible. Guess who 4th is? I weirded that wrong. Goodness. I need to stop doing these 10 o'clock recordings. I know you're probably listening at 8 a.m. in the morning on Saturday, but right now it is 10 p.m. on Tuesday night, and I've got just a jumbled mess in my brain right now. So let me start over. I want you to guess who is 4th on the all-time wins list for Hendrick Motorsports. I'll give you a second. 1 Mississippi. That's right, Chase Elliott. He has 21 wins, so he's just 5 behind Larson. But to be honest, he's had a little bit more time with Hendrick Motorsports than Larson has. So Larson has surpassed him. But still, Chase, 21 wins. He also is a champion in the Cup Series. Okay? Any guesses on who might be 5th on the list? Your current Hendrick Motorsports driver, William Byron. He's got 16 wins to his name already. Doesn't have a championship yet. Pretty sure it's coming soon, though. So we have 3 drivers in the top 5 all-time wins for Hendrick Motorsports, which is an organization that includes Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson. So what we have right now, we are super blessed with. Last but not least, Alex Bowman has 8 career wins, but he's only 1 win away from being tied for 7th in Hendrick Motorsports history. So not too shabby for the guy that is considered our 4th driver, but still a top 10 when it comes to the organization as a whole over their 40-something years. And he's been with us a short time as well. Feels like there's a lot more to go for each of these guys, which we will dive into here in just a moment. But when you're ready to make the commitment, Hendrick Motorsports is your long-term home for your fandom of NASCAR. We got the drivers for you. All right, let's take a swig, and then we'll dive into it driver by driver. I might need a pouch too. So I'm going to give you reasons why you should root for each of our current drivers. And I'm also going to give you some professional sports team equivalents. Let me explain. So first, we're starting with Alex Bowman, and I want to compare him to a professional sports team. Okay. And so I've chosen to do 2 sports teams for each driver. I'm sure you'll find disagreements. I'll explain why for each of these, but I'll give you an Alex Bowman equivalent in the NFL and an equivalent in the NBA, just because a lot of sports fans are familiar with football and basketball references. So that's where we'll go. Let's start with Alex Bowman. First of all, this guy's the underdog. Okay. If you want to root for the underdog, you root for Alex Bowman. But his equivalents in professional sports, I would say Bowman's kind of like the Seattle Seahawks, who is not always there and not always the best. Will miss the playoffs a lot of years, but will get a lot of wins. Well respected by other organizations in the NFL. But the Seahawks they find a way to stay relevant, regardless of being just so-so. Okay? Just kind of meh. And I would say Alex Bowman's equivalent in the NBA, maybe the Oklahoma City Thunder. I know what you're thinking is why on earth would you pick the Thunder of all teams who just won the championship last year? Bowman hasn't won a championship, but kind of for the same reason. The Thunder just kind of come out of nowhere. Every now and then they've certainly come out of nowhere the last couple years, a little bit before they were supposed to. And look, Bowman hasn't stayed steady atop his success like the Thunder have, but they just find a way to impress every now and then, remind you like, hey, we're not super flashy and super filled with stats like the Thunder. Yes, they're a very good team, but I want you to focus more on the organization, the Oklahoma City Thunder. They don't belong in the same category as the Celtics and the Lakers and the Knicks and the Racers. I mean, they don't have the rich history of the Pacers, So the Thunder, just kind of a new team, kind of a meh team until the last couple years. And now there's something. But watch, they will fall soon. It just always happens. Kind of a small market like that. Watch. Okay. We're not going to get into arguments here. I know ball. Okay. We can argue some other time. I love basketball. Actually, just got home from coaching today. So our team finished their regular season 12-2. Very proud of our season. We have playoffs on Monday. But anywho, Bowman, the underdog. Okay. The Thunder are still looked at as underdogs. I know they got SGA. I know they got Chet. They got ballers. But it is the OKC Thunder. Like, just haven't had a whole lot of expectations. Kind of like the Milwaukee Bucks when they kind of blew up, the underdog. But we've seen, even with keeping Giannis around, they can't keep the rest of that team intact, and they have fallen as well. That's going to happen to the Thunder soon. Just watch. Teams that stay at the top, which I'll talk about in a few minutes when we're talking about other drivers, but that's just how it goes. That is sports. It's been proven time and time again. So, again, if you like the underdog, you're probably going to like Alex Bowman. Look, this guy has grinded for years in his career. He first started in the Cup Series by racing the number 23 Dr. Pepper car for BK Racing. That's where I first remember him from. He did obviously work his way up to Cup, but that's where he got his first chance in a Cup Series ride. And of course, I'm a big Dr. Pepper fan. So I was obviously like, okay, Bowman is a guy to watch. Well, he ended up driving the number 7 car for Tommy Baldwin Racing after that. And then Bowman kind of persevered. He fought through some tough times, and both of those rides, not great rides, but it was in the Cup Series. And just kind of showed a willingness, and he grinded to get more opportunities, and he did a lot with the little, to be honest with you. So he did get the call up to Hendrick Motorsports in 2016 when he was driving for Junior Motorsports in the Xfinity Series, okay? He got the call up from Saturday to Sunday, and he was going to split the number 88 car with Jeff Gordon. This is when Dale Earnhardt Jr. got injured and was going to sit out the rest of 2016. So Bowman and Jeff Gordon were the guys that stepped in and split the rides for the rest of the season. Then, just 2 years later, Bowman became the full-time driver of the number 88 car. And that was in 2018. And then he won the Daytona 500 pole immediately. His first try at a Daytona 500 in Hendrick Motorsports equipment, he sat on the pole for. So quickly proved that he was here to make a name for himself. Then he shifted to the number 48 a couple years later when Jimmy Johnson retired. So already you see he's been in the 88, he's been in the 48, he's driven for some legendary numbers. He's filled in some legendary seats. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jimmy Johnson. Crazy stuff. Big shoes to fill in both of those rides. But in 2021, that was his breakthrough year. He won 4 races. And so to this point in his career right now, he has 8 wins, 8 poles, and then he does have 7 playoff appearances in his Cup career. All right. Bowman has proven that he can win on different styles of tracks. That includes short tracks. He won at Martinsville. He can win intermediates. And he also won the wet Chicago street course a few years ago, which was really impressive to me at that time. I wasn't completely sold on Bowman being a long-term guy for Hendrick Motorsports. When he won that race in the pouring rain, brand new track, on the streets, caught my attention, proved that he is here to stay. I don't know how long, but didn't feel like his seat was super hot coming out of that win. Bowman also has racing that he does on the side, Alex Bowman Racing, which specializes in 3 different disciplines. So he races dirt, races street, and races drift. So you not only get to see him on Sundays, but you can see him a lot of times throughout the week and throughout the off season, still perfecting his craft and competing with other drivers around the United States, maybe the world. I'm not sure where they race, but he is very heavily involved in racing outside of NASCAR. He does have an established sponsor of Ally Bank, which, got to be honest with you, they do bring some fire paint schemes to the track. Now, I don't know if he has another sponsor. I'm pretty sure Ally has his entire season as the primary sponsor. They'll do different paint schemes, special paint schemes. And so they always have some really good colors on the cars. They were the sponsor for Jimmy Johnson when he was on his way out. But this year, I got to say, I think this year's car is the best paint scheme I've seen on the 48 in a very, very long time. So excited to see what Bowman can do with a refresh look. Yeah, I think he has a pretty fun personality. I know a lot of people are into that. And we can nitpick. We can say he's boring. That's just people that don't like him. To be honest, he looks like a fun dude. Seems to crack some jokes when he is doing some interviews at the track. Talks about going and drinking all night after that Chicago race. I think he ended up selling like a hack T-shirt after his feud with Denny Hamlin. So, yes, you'll see many drivers do that type of thing. I've always enjoyed Bowman's personality. So, really, that's something you have to determine for yourself. Give him a chance and see if he fits your fancy. But if you like the underdog, you'll like Alex Bowman. All right. Let's move on to our next driver. Next up is Chase Elliott. Now, this is my personal favorite driver currently. This is my top dog, number one, and that's not going to change for a very long time. I'm going to stick it out to the end of his career. Chase Elliott is my guy, and I'm not telling you to pick him to be your favorite driver because he's mine. I'm going to give you reasons why. But you must know, if you start rooting for Chase Elliott, you're going to be rooting for the face of the sport pretty much. This guy is liked and appreciated by much of the sport, which means he has even stronger haters out there. You know, the more someone is liked, the more the haters speak up. So, yes, you really cannot be on the fence with Chase Elliott. You either really like him or you really don't. There's not really many people in the middle. And this guy, like I said, he is the face of the sport. I would say Chase Elliott's equivalent in professional sports, probably the Steelers, probably the Celtics, okay? Very established names, been around a long time. Okay, we're going to talk about his dad, has the name Elliott, been in NASCAR forever, very popular. Steelers, Celtics, okay? Very competitive all the time, very consistent. Maybe not always winning the championships, even though both franchises do have a lot of championships. But even when they're in their down years, they're still good. They're still very competitive, very consistent. They really are never bad. And they might not be super great at the moment, but even with adversity, they find a way to stay very relevant and very popular amongst all fans of sports. And that's Chase Elliott for you. He's for the legacy fan. Okay, if you're into NASCAR history, this is the guy. Like I mentioned, he's the son of a legend, Bill Elliott. Bill Elliott was voted NASCAR's most popular driver. I don't know how many times, but it was a lot. And now that's what Chase gets to do every year is, regardless if he's winning championships, he is definitely winning the most popular driver award year in and year out. He has 8 of those in a row. This year will be number 9. So let's start. Also, he has a massive fan base. I was just mentioning this. And he has this massive fan base really without having much of a personality. A lot of fans, his haters, they'll rip into him on the internet and say he doesn't have a personality. Like, they're just confused why everybody likes him. And I myself, I got to admit, he really doesn't show much of his personality. We know he's got one, but he kind of stays off the internet, stays off of social media. He's very quiet. And for some people, that's exactly their cup of tea. And it works for me. I really do like flashy athletes that are out on TV and in social media all the time. But for some reason, the way Chase does it, it works for me. So maybe it'll work for you too. However, Chase has already been very successful at every level he's raced at. He was the 2014 Xfinity champion, and he was the 2020 Cup champion. And don't forget, he has the 21 Cup Series wins. So he's off to a great start in his career. And this guy also has raced in some legendary car numbers. So first of all, he took over for Jeff Gordon in the number 24 car. And then a couple years later, he actually changed numbers to the number 9, which is what his dad, Bill Elliott, drove and made famous for so long. And so that was kind of a telling moment where Rick Hendrick was able to acquire that number and give it to Chase, knowing how much that meant to him. And so right now he's just carrying on the family legacy. And like I said, Chase he's just steady success. He doesn't really have bad races. The past 2 years, he has started his season on a top 20 finish streak. And it's been like, I think he went 19 races one year. And last year, he went quite a while, 23, 24 maybe. I don't remember that exact number. But even when he's not winning, he's not losing very much. He doesn't have a lot of DNFs. He doesn't finish many laps down. He just stays competitive. He's consistent. He's steady. He's only 30 years old, so he's going to be around for at least another decade or more, I would think. And this guy also has big name sponsors. So I told you Bowman just has Ally pretty much. I think I might be wrong about that. I ain't gonna lie. I need to check on that. But I mean, that's all I can remember him driving for is Ally in the 48. So Chase actually has several different sponsors. Mainly, Napa is on his car. You know, those blue, white, and yellow colors are flying on his paint schemes week in, week out when he's driving for Napa. But he also has Amazon Prime Video. He's got Kelley Blue Book. He's a Coca-Cola driver. He's got UniFirst on the car. A couple years ago, he had Hooters on the car. This guy just has brands, and that's what popularity does for you. That's what success does for you. It gets you popular with the sponsors, and they want to be on your car, and Chase has no shortage of that. So you can expect to see some pretty good paint schemes throughout the year, depending on which week it is, because I don't like that UniFirst car. So, like I said, he just keeps a low profile. He's very quiet. No drama with Chase. It's just results. And he also can win on all different styles of tracks. And he comes through when it matters. Okay? He comes up big when it matters and counts the most. His first and only championship, he had to win Martinsville to lock himself into the championship race at Phoenix. And he went on to win that one too. Back-to-back wins to get his first championship. All right, we're going to wrap up. We got 2 more drivers to cover. So our next driver is William Byron. And I don't know if I have a nickname for this guy. Nickname is something you got to earn. But this guy, I don't want to call him a phenom because I feel like that's Connor Zilisch. But William Byron, he's like the modern face, okay? Chase Elliott, laid back, old school type of vibes with him personality-wise. William Byron's kind of this new age, the modern face, okay? So here's his equivalent in the NFL and NBA. William Byron is like the Buffalo Bills and the Golden State Warriors, okay? They're kind of new to the success. They got the star, Josh Allen. They got Steph Curry, always going to be featured, always going to be highlighted, talked about a lot. That's William Byron for you. When people start talking NASCAR, they start talking about this guy. He's not the face of the sport, but he's like the new up-and-coming face. He was featured on the video game last year on the cover. So, if you want someone that's going to be a championship threat for many years to come, this is your guy. Just like Josh Allen and just like Steph Curry when he started taking over in Golden State. Championship threat all the time. Always going to be mentioned, always in the conversation. That's William Byron, okay? So this guy, this kid, he's still young. He started on iRacing. So he got into motorsport through video games pretty much and won a lot on iRacing, so much as he got noticed, got a try in a real car, proved himself. So William has also shown quick progress at every level. He was the 2016 truck champion. He was the 2017 Xfinity champion. and he's got 16 career Cup wins. Doesn't have that championship yet, but it's coming. He is also a back-to-back Daytona 500 champion. So coming up in a few weeks, he's going for the three-peat. He currently drives the legendary number 24. So big shoes to fill there. I truly feel like he is destined to be the next champion in the 24 car. And I believe you ask any fan in NASCAR, everybody can see it coming. He's a champion. He's an eventual champion. Is coming one day. He's also a family guy. If you're into having your kids follow someone, this might be the guy too. He's, still very connected to his parents, and he seems to be searching for a lady, to build a family with one day. He currently does not. I don't think he has anyone that he's dating, but he's certainly interested in blondes, is what we've noticed. So, good luck to Willie B out there. Just like I said, family guy though. Seems to be someone that he wants to find someone to settle down with and have a family eventually, but still very good at what he does by putting his career first. He's coming off of a regular season championship. So he just went out there and tore it up last year. Very good season. He can also do it at just about any track. Doesn't matter where they go. The 24 car is going to be in contention because of the guy behind the wheel. And I think he's poised to dominate for the next 15 years, at least. He's only 28 right now, so you're talking about when he's 43. I still think he's going to be atop the sport. That's about what Denny Hamlin is right now. He's around that 43, 44 age, I think. William Byron is going to be a driver to be reckoned with for a long time in NASCAR. So if you want someone that's going to be winning a bunch of races and contending for championships, this is your guy. He also has great sponsors and paint schemes. We could list Exalta, Raptor, Liberty University. Here we go. Valvoline. Again, if you go back to a previous episode, I kind of mentioned that I don't care for all the red, white, and blue schemes. I'm a American. I love the USA. But I would like a variation when it comes to the 24 car. Okay, I like colors. And so would really love to see them give him some more flashy paint schemes. But those sponsors have been on his ride for a long time, and they keep coming back. He just continues to prove himself with each of those sponsors on the car. And he seems to be a man of faith as well. Not as outspoken as he used to be when he was younger, kind of coming up into the sport. But I'm not saying going to Liberty University makes you a Christian or anything like that, but he has shared his testimony and has shared his faith during times in his career. So this is another quality of his that I like and appreciate, and I can get on board with. And so, again, that's William Byron, big Lego guy, big kid at heart, and still really good at what he does. Kind of think he is still getting better. I don't think we've seen the best of Willie B yet. So if you need a driver that's going to be the new championship contender year in, year out, you're a little late to getting on this bus, okay? Hop on the bandwagon now. William Byron is that guy. I promise you. Okay, last guy I'm going to talk about, Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson is the racer. At the core, he is just a racer. He's a driver. He's a competitor. He loves a challenge. There's nothing too grand for him, and there's nothing too small for him either. He keeps going back and visiting tracks and racing in series that he's raced in for decade, at least, probably more than that. I mean, these guys have all grown up racing quite a bit, but I think Kyle Larson does it more than anybody else. So if you want someone that is just going to give it their all and has the talent, Kyle Larson's the guy. His nickname is Young Money, and for good reason. He's regarded as one of the best drivers in the world. Now, the reason I mentioned that is I would say Kyle Larson, kind of like the Patriots and the Celtics here too, as well. I think I had them up there, with Chase maybe. I may have been wrong about that, but Larson, probably more the Celtics speed, and Patriots, the New England teams, championships, okay? That's what Kyle Larson does. He just goes out there and wins all the time, even when you don't see it coming. He's going to stay very competitive and win year in, year out. And that's what we've seen, obviously, from the Patriots now going to a Super Bowl. is that they just keep finding ways to win. You cannot ever say that they're really a bad franchise or bad driver. That's not Larson, and that's not the Patriots and Celtics. So, he can race in just about any machine on any track. I think if we put him on a lawnmower in your backyard, he would run circles around us all. He's that good. But his roots are in dirt racing. He grew up on dirt tracks. And that's kind of like that's his thing. That's kind of his fallback. And I think it makes him better on Sundays in NASCAR as well. So he's a 2-time champion in NASCAR. And like I said, he's only been with Hendrick Motorsports since 2021. So to already have 2 championships and 26 wins with the organization is great. But he did have 6 wins before he joined Hendrick Motorsports. So he currently has 32 career wins, and that already has him tied for 29th all-time, all NASCAR drivers ever. He's already in the top 30. In fact, he's only 5 wins behind Joey Logano. And it feels like Logano's been doing this for 40 years himself. Logano's been around forever, and he's actually 3rd on the list of all-time wins. So Larson's only 5 behind him. Could reach him this year, maybe. If not this year, definitely next year. But that's the pace that Larson's winning at right now. And he wins big races, okay? The only crown jewel race that Larson has not won yet is the Daytona 500. He has not been able to break through and win a super speedway track yet. Feel like that's coming. And if it does, it could very well be in the Daytona 500, giving him the career Grand Slam. He's already won the Southern 500. He won the Brickyard 400, and he has won the Coca-Cola 600. So that Daytona 500 is the last one missing, and then he'll have that Thanos moment where he just has all the power in the world, in the NASCAR world at least. Again, this guy's fun, wins all the time, usually has his wife and kids with him. Shout out to Caitlin Larson. His wife shotguns a beer in Victory Lane. A lot of times she will get a lot of, I don't know what you want to call it, like pop for being, in Victory Lane and on social media, and usually finds her way onto the internet for shotgunning the beer like she does, but only does that when he wins. Like, that's just something that is special. Kind of like that's their version of the Carl Edwards backflip or the Ross Chastain watermelon smash. When Larson wins, he's going to have his wife in Victory Lane most likely. And when he wins the championship, she is for sure shotgunning a beer. That's just how we celebrate. So he just gives it all, gives it his all. He is 100% effort all the time. He gives, he races every lap like it's the last lap of the race. And for a lot of people, that is something to be very interested in. And again, sometimes that's for better, sometimes for worse. But he's going to give it his all when he's on that track. He is a hard racer, and he loves to do it. He's fast everywhere he goes, even the super speedways. We haven't seen him win yet, but we've seen great improvement recently. Feel like that win is coming very soon. But you take him to any track, and he's going to be very fast. He's among the best in the garage at all times, no matter what week of the year it is. Even if he's in a little bit of a drought, like let's say he's gone 20 to 30 races without a win, he's still going to be seen as a threat. And the odds in Vegas are still going to have him as a top 2 or 3 favorite that week, no matter what. He's kind of like shades of Jeff Gordon 2.0 is what we're seeing here. He's that good. He's got that much talent. And a lot of times when a guy is that good, the haters are going to be even louder. And so there's a lot of people that don't like Larson for being as good as he is. That comes with success. And we saw that with Jeff and Jimmy throughout their careers. The better you are, the louder the haters are too. And I think Larson feeds into that, and it fuels him. And as if he needed any more fuel. He's a great racer and someone you can always get behind if that's just who you like. That's like, clearly it's the most important thing to him. He's still in his young 30s, low 30s. I think he's 31 maybe. No, so Larson's 33. Logano's only 35, believe it or not. 2 years older than Larson. Just feels like he's been doing it for so long. But he's already caught up to him. and still just 33 years of age. So feels like he could do this still for a good while. I could say that about all 4 drivers. Obviously, I would have to admit to you, if any of them are on the hot seat, it's going to be Alex Bowman right now, has the most to prove. The other 3 feel very established and probably long-term commitments at Hendrick Motorsports in their current rides. Bowman is going to have a big year this season. He's going to have kind of a prove-it year where, he's missed the playoffs. Actually, no, he did get into the playoffs this past year, but he has missed opportunity after opportunity and hasn't been winning as many races that as he should maybe, because the standard is higher over at Hendrick Motorsports. A little bit more is expected of you. So when you're not keeping up with the rest of the organization, then you're obviously going to be the guy that has all the eyes and all the heat and all the pressure on you. And that's currently the seat that Bowman is in. But in the same breath, I could say he might go out there and win 2 or 3 races this year and remind everybody why he is a driver within this organization. So I hope you took a little bit of something from this episode, shared some facts with you, tried to state the case for each driver, and hopefully you can find one to like and appreciate. I would just encourage you, go watch the sport and, watch our 4 drivers. Don't worry about anybody else on the track. They don't matter. Find the guy that you like. And you have plenty of reasons to like any of these drivers. But before I close, I do want to give a shout out to some friends of mine that are helping promote this episode. So this episode is going to release Thursday morning. And then starting on Thursday through Sunday, every day on my social media, on Zip It Up Pod social media, I'm going to drop a video promoting this episode, but it's also a friend of mine they're going to state the case for their driver. So I have Lily, who is going to speak up for Alex Bowman, and I'll drop her video on Thursday. I have her boyfriend or fiance, not sure the relationship, but good old buddy of mine, Blake, is the Chase Elliott fan that I'm going to post later this week. And Blake is from the Checkered Chat. Big fan of their show. Once you're done listening to mine, go over to theirs. They're getting right back into their season. They produce a really good podcast. Doesn't cover so much Hendrick Motorsports, covers NASCAR as a whole. And they have really great information and opinions, not only in the Cup Series, but they cover O'Reilly and trucks as well. Probably sometimes going to talk ARCA, but appreciate Lily and Blake for doing that for me this week. And then shout out to John, the motorsport enthusiast. He is going to be the William Byron fan, and really appreciate the content that he puts out on social media. Go give him a follow. And then also shout out to Young Jess. Does a lot of diecast videos. He's a collector on TikTok. And so he will be the Kyle Larson fan that you'll see this week on my socials. So would love for you to all go follow each of them and just kind of get immersed with everything that they're doing, creating NASCAR content as well. And this is all just one big old family that we're a part of. We love being NASCAR fans, and I would love for you to be Hendrick Motorsports fans after listening to this episode. As we go into this weekend, we got the Clash coming up. And as I record on Tuesday night, it's still kind of unknown if they're even going to race. There was a lot of snow on the track. They're working to get rid of all that, but there is another storm on the way. And so the Clash is supposed to happen this weekend. I'm not going to do a Clash preview. It's just kind of a warm-up race. It's an exhibition race. Really doesn't matter. The points don't count for anything. There are no points. This is just go out and kind of get back into racing, before Daytona. So last year, Chase Elliott did win the Clash at Bowman Gray. It'll be there again. So he's looking to repeat that victory, but it really wasn't a true telling of what was to come for Chase's season. That, kind of, if we let the Clash determine how we feel the season's going to go, we're going to be very wrong. So I wouldn't put a whole lot of stock into this race, but hey, racing is back, so we're going to enjoy it. I myself will be on a cruise in the Caribbean this week. So when I return, I'll be ready to get a recap of the Clash, and just for myself, probably won't mention it much next week. But when we do come back onto the pod I'll have an episode for you, and it's going to be our season preview episode. And there's going to be a lot to discuss and a lot to talk about as we have a championship to defend and got a big season ahead. A lot of changes have happened in NASCAR during the offseason. We'll spend some time talking about those changes and how they might benefit our drivers. But again, I just want to say thank you for joining tonight. And, man, really hope y'all have a good week. And I plan on seeing y'all again next week. All right. Stay safe out there.